This is the High Roads Media presentation of The Law of Success, Volume 1, The Principles of Self-Mastery, written by Napoleon Hill and read by Arthur Morey, with contemporary commentaries read by Tony Hudds. And now, beginning with the preface to the revised edition, Arthur Morey reads.
Preface to the revised edition. Updating one of Napoleon Hill's most enduringly popular and helpful works is an intimidating task. The Law of Success was first published in 1928 as a set of 8 volumes. Its reception was phenomenal. It won immediate endorsement from 2 former presidents of the United States, as well as a legion of other prominent figures from all walks of life, including inventor Thomas Edison, business tycoon F.W. Woolworth, and labor leader Samuel Gompers. Since then, in various forms, the Law of Success has been reprinted more than 50 times. The power and usefulness of its message endure. Napoleon Hill's name has been synonymous with success motivation for generations of Americans. His influence is reflected in the works of countless successors. Like Hill's other books, such as Think and Grow Rich and Keys to Success, this book has guided millions of people to discover and pursue what they want most from life. Readers familiar with those books will recognize some differences in Hill's ideas in this work, particularly in the number of key principles and in their wording, but the power and wisdom of Hill's ideas are clearly, unmistakably here. Why then change anything about the book? Why tinker with success? Because, quite simply, Napoleon Hill's whole life was a process of discovery. He dedicated himself to uncovering the qualities and traits that made great individuals, and for more than 40 years after the publication of The Law of Success, he continued to observe and interpret lives of successful people. There was nothing static about his approach. He refined and clarified his ideas at every opportunity so that they would be more useful to his readers. This new edition of The Law of Success attempts to continue that effort. New examples of the application of Hill's ideas have been added to show that those ideas remain just as important, just as useful as they ever were. Publisher's note. Before everything else, Napoleon Hill was an inspiring public speaker. The Law of Success, as Hill likes to remind us, began as a lecture series. It was tested before many hundreds of audiences and molded by their responses. In print, it was issued piecemeal at first, in different editions with slightly differing formats. Like many great men who belong to an oral tradition, Hill was constantly, throughout his life, updating and modifying his ideas. In reissuing The Law of Success, we hope to reconcile Hill, the developer of seminal ideas, with Hill, the presenter and interpreter. On one hand, this edition presents Hill's ideas in their most complete, most comprehensive and original form. It is true to the text, using all materials, including pamphlets and addenda, ever published under the Law of Success title. At the same time, it is true to the man. We attempt to allow Hill to be as modern an author as if he were still among us. We have accomplished the second goal in 3 ways. First, where there was repetition of ideas, we selected the most comprehensive example, adding commentary to illustrate variations. Second, we included other commentaries that illustrate Hill's points with more modern examples. For purposes of clarity, all such commentaries, as well as various quotations drawn from other writings of Mr. Hill and inserted in this program, will be read by a second voice, that of Tony Hudds. Finally, and this is the most delicate issue, we have treated the text itself as we would the text of a living author. When we feel that something is obscure or misleading because the author's language is idiosyncratic or archaic, or because it might be construed as racist or sexist, we have made minor changes. Also, where Hill digresses, as when talking about physics or psychology, to discuss theories that have since been revised, we have made minor revisions. For anyone who has ever been moved or affected by Hill's ideas, and know it or not, most of us have, this edition will set the standard for decades to come. We hope and believe that when Mr. Hill sits in our mastermind group and gives us his take on the work we have done, he will express his hearty approval. We rather expect he will also cheerfully suggest further improvements. When The Law of Success was first published in 1928, Hill wrote of an age of greater opportunity, in which he believed that Americans had unprecedented freedom to make of themselves what they would. The new material in this text shows that despite an ensuing depression and several wars, despite tumultuous political and cultural change, that age endures into the present and shows no sign of vanishing. Much of the modern world would have astounded and delighted Napoleon Hill, who was born in backwoods Virginia during the presidency of Chester A. Arthur. Fax machines, the internet, magnetic resonance imaging, gene therapy, these were all still dreams in the minds of individuals when Hill passed away in 1970. But they represent exactly the kind of exciting innovation and progress he so passionately believed would come from dedicated human effort. The trustees of the Napoleon Hill Foundation have ordered this new edition of the Law of Success with full confidence that it continues a long and proud tradition of pointing the way to personal achievement. It can do no more than that. Success in such a pursuit depends on your choices and your actions. This volume is the first of 4 that will contain the entire revised text of the Law of Success. In it you will learn of Hill's belief in the power of the human mind and of his deeply held conviction that each of us must discover a clear purpose for our lives. These are the foundations of the pursuit of success. You will also learn of the importance of self-confidence in that pursuit and the necessity of conserving and marshaling your resources no matter how you define success for yourself. Later volumes will teach you other important lessons such as leadership and imagination, accurate thinking and concentration, cooperation and learning from your mistakes. Together, these 4 volumes will be the most complete and authoritative guide you will ever encounter to making the most of yourself and your efforts. Success is not achieved by application of a simple 3-step program. It depends on a fully concentrated, comprehensive plan of action that enlists all of your abilities. Devote yourself to understanding each of the 4 lessons in this program before you move on to the next. When you have completed Lesson 2, review Lesson 1 before beginning Lesson 3 so that you refresh your understanding of the Law of Success. You will find as you progress that each subsequent lesson depends on understanding all those that have preceded it. It does you little good and potentially much damage to know how to use the accelerator of a car if you have forgotten how to steer or brake. So, resolve to make the most of the tremendous opportunity this course represents. Prepare yourself to alter the way in which you think about success and how it is attained. Hundreds of thousands of other men and women have improved their careers, fortunes, family life, and sense of themselves on the basis of the Law of Success. You can too.
Who said it could not be done? And what great victories has he to his credit, which qualify him to judge others accurately?
And now we begin Volume 1 of the Law of Success, The Principles of Self-Mastery. Perhaps Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie should be acknowledged as having contributed most toward the building of this course, for the reason that it was Andrew Carnegie who first suggested the writing of the course, and Henry Ford whose life work supplied much of the material out of which the course was developed. Some of the men who helped to shape my thoughts are now deceased, but to those who are still living I wish to make here grateful acknowledgment of the service they have rendered, without which this book never could have been written. I have studied the majority of these people at close range, in person. With many of them I enjoy or did enjoy before their death the privilege of close, personal friendship which enabled me to gather from their philosophy facts that would not have been available under other conditions. I am grateful for having enjoyed the privilege of enlisting the services of the most powerful human beings on earth in the building of the Law of Success course. That privilege has been remuneration enough for the work done, if nothing more were ever received for it. They have been the backbone and the foundation and the skeleton of American business, finance, industry, and statesmanship. The Law of Success course epitomizes the philosophy and the rules of procedure which made each of these men a great power in his chosen field of endeavor. It has been my intention to present the course in the plainest and most simple terms available, so it could be mastered by very young men and women of high school age.